It's Tokyo Series Game 2 Picks Edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by our free bracket challenge, $2,000 winner take all. Enter today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bracket. Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Tuesday, March the 18th, and we are here to handicap some live baseball. We had a opening day in Japan this morning. Game number 1 in Tokyo was taken by the LA Dodgers 4-1 against the Chicago Cubs. And Wednesday morning sees Game 2 get underway. Here to have a look for the first time this season at some live action with me is Mr. Lonte Smith. Lonte, how are you doing?
Hey man, doing pretty good, man. I wish I was celebrating that Newcastle win with you and Bob at the match, but yeah, I'm doing good on this side of the world, and yeah, man, I'm happy for you and all of the bettors who placed the bet on Newcastle. So, but yeah, man, I'm doing good. Ready to talk some baseball.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Lonte. I mean, so I know I have bored everyone senseless with all the chat, so I do apologise, and I will stop mentioning it in the next 9 or 10 years, possibly. But everyone's been saying nice things, even tonight in the chat. The Backus family are here. TV DBJ, congratulate me. And loads of the listeners have sent me lovely messages. You can probably tell by my voice that I'm still a little bit worse for wear. Combination of excitement, singing, crying, and beer has sent me a little bit like this. I did the show earlier on with Dylan. Me and Barry have postponed our Premier League show later on because neither of us are still in a fit state to do it. But no, it was absolutely fantastic. Great weekend. First time in 70 years. Nearly as long as Boston Red Sox. But the first time in 70 years, Newcastle managed to lift a domestic trophy. Never thought I'd see it in my lifetime. Certainly didn't think I'd see it before my dad finally pops his clog. So I went out to see my dad yesterday, and we cried like babies at each other for 5 minutes. So yeah, really good. Enjoyed it a lot, Lonte. Game 1 this morning. Did you manage to catch any of it? I was telling Dylan earlier on, my MLB app was just being a dick. I was really looking forward to listening to the game on the radio when I was out and about in the van. And the MLB app just kept kicking me out. It was coming up with error messages. So I didn't get to listen to any of it. I watched the little live score bug update and stuff, and I've since caught up with the game recap, but I didn't get to listen to any of it live. So I hope the app sorts itself out for tomorrow, or at least by opening day, without, I think it was like geolocating me out, which it's never done before. But did you catch a game today, or were you asleep?
No, I didn't catch it. I was getting ready for work during the first part of it, but I caught like some of the like recap and like the game cast like as it was going on, and as I was working, but I didn't get the chance to see it live. But tomorrow, hopefully, I'll be able to see it live. Being that I'm working from home, so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. But it looked like we didn't miss much besides the Dodgers just being the Dodgers, even without two of their best players.
That's a bit of an odd one because it sort of all boiled down to one half inning, really. The Cubs took...
Yeah, really, yeah.
Yeah, the Cubs took Imanaga out. I know Patrick Backus was talking to me on Twitter earlier on, saying he had the over on the outs for Imanaga. He went 4 hitless innings, 69 pitches. He did walk 4. It was a career high in walks, I think, for Imanaga. And then was pulled after 69 pitches, which maybe, is it still a extended spring training type feel to it?
Yeah, I think so.
And
Yeah.
the pitcher kit was Ben Brown. Ben Brown came in for the Cubs and got hit around. And that was the difference, was that half inning, because the Dodgers hadn't been able to put much together before that, didn't put much together after that. Cubs didn't put much together at all. Yamamoto pitched well, and the rest of the Dodgers spent. I think that's the thing, though, we're playing this Dodgers team, is that you're going to have all facets of your game together to be able to pick up a win. Other teams, you could get away with maybe one player could carry you a pitching performance or a hitting performance. But against the Dodgers, if all 3 departments of the game aren't at it, or all 4 departments of the game aren't at it, the Dodgers will get you. And that's pretty much what's happened this morning. So we'll see what's happening here. Fernando's joined us in the chat. Fernando, how you doing? As well as Trev that we mentioned. Who else is here? Ryan as well. Ryan Mara is in the chat. So if you are kicking about, by all means, say hello. Tanner Scott locked down his first save as well. So, yeah, 1-0 for the Dodgers. My 5-1 World Series pick looks a lock at this point, Lonte. 100% record. You can compete against SGPN this March in our 75k winner take all college basketball survivor. March has never been this exciting. Enter at splashsports.com/SGPN. DraftKings, they're all geared up for March Madness too. Upsets, buzzer beaters, top seeds going home early. Everything over on DraftKings Sportsbook. Live betting, exclusive content, promos, parlays. If it's your first time, you can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Bet the unexpected with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code SGP. That's SGP for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help's available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Bootle Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Rhythm are throwing that March Madness party. Scott is on the plane as we speak. I am jealous. It is Wednesday, March the 19th at the Awesome Stadium Summit, circa Las Vegas. Rhythm's March Madness stats were brilliant last year, 39% higher than in many ESPN brackets. Go to Rhythm, avail yourself of all the offers. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party for details. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party. Right, okay. As Adrian J joins us, Adrian, we're very glad to be back as well. So tomorrow we have what time's this going on? So I really need to get myself back on American time as well. I've been on Premier League podcast time for 5 months. Wednesday, March the 19th, 6:10 a.m. Eastern time. Which is 10:10 in the morning for me. It's absolutely perfect. We have the LA Dodgers at the Chicago Cubs. Home team is reversed this morning. The Dodgers will throw Roki Sasaki on debut. The Chicago Cubs will throw friend of the network, left-handed pitcher Justin Steele. Moneyline has the Dodgers at -156, the Cubs at +130. On the run line, the Dodgers -1.5, +105. The Cubs +1.5 and -125. And the total is set at 8. Lonte Roki Sasaki, he's the talking horse. Lots of chat around him, lots of expectation, lots of hype. I imagine the Japanese fans will be as hyped tomorrow, as they were today, to watch Imanaga and Yamamoto go. So, what are you expecting from Sasaki? What do you know about him? And how are we going to handicap this game in the morning?
Well, usually I try to tread lightly during these games because, like you mentioned at the top, it's more of a glorified spring training than it is an opening day. And the Dodgers are at this price because they're missing two of their guys. Actually, I think Freddie Freeman is supposed to be back. He was like a late scratch today, so I'm assuming he'll be back in the lineup tomorrow. But I don't know if anything's official been announced yet. But I mean, it's going to be a lot of emotions for him on the mound. Pitching for the first time, making his debut in such a big environment, man. I think it's going to be a lot of emotion for him. I think he'll do well. I mean, if the Cubs are hitting like they were today, then he'll definitely do well because they didn't have a hit after the third inning, if I'm not mistaken. I think they went 0 of 21. And if it wasn't for that error, I think they would have been a lot more competitive. I mean, Shohei showed out like he always does. But here, I think that the Cubs have to jump out early. So I think Trev kind of gave away one of my favorite plays, which is the Cubs' first 5. I like that a ton. And I expect them to maybe be up 1-0, 2-1. I think the bats will regress positively, and they'll be able to get some hits off him. We don't know how, he's going to be on the mound in his first, debut, all the pressure on him. He could be overwhelmed with a lot of family and friends there. So I'm going to think that the Cubs can jump out on him early and kind of force him to, throw strikes and stay steady versus him getting in a good rhythm early and him being locked in, and he gets the crowd behind him, he gets his teammates behind him, and he may just have a spectacular opening. So I'm going for the version that the Cubs jump on him early. Their bats get going early on. So I like the first 5. And then maybe once he settles in, you'll see the Dodgers bats come alive. And I mean, Justin Steele is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, he had 2 back-to-back decent years. I know 24 was kind of injury laden for him, but I think he can perform well here. I mean, all the pressure is pretty much on the Dodgers every game, and especially in this specific spot. So I like the Cubs in the first 5. I think I'm going to take them to the full game as well. So give me the Cubs and under.
Yeah, the under's interesting today. The pitchers looked way ahead of the batters. Actually, that was a huge feature of I think it was the COVID year, when no one knew who would be in front of who, and it turns out the pitchers were way ahead of the batters, which was kind of counterintuitive. But it looked that way today. Imanaga, it was the walks, which was unusual. But even then, he managed to get himself out of trouble a couple of times. And that was it. It was that one half inning with Ben Brown that we mentioned. Roki Sasaki, he's not an unknown quantity. He's going to be unknown, or lesser known to us, lesser known to US sports fans. 23 years old. He's done great things in Japan, writes a lot of headlines, but he does have a little injury history. And there was a little slight downtick last year in his stuff as well. So we'll just have to see what happens in there. Fastball, slider type pitcher. And his star pitch is the cutter. His cutter is the put away pitch. But yeah, it's just exciting to see how he goes, really. Following Shohei and all the other Japanese stars over here. But you said Steele isn't to be sniffed at. I mean, what a rock-solid opponent. Absolutely rock-solid opponent. Was one of our favourite pitchers on the show to follow last year. 5-5 last year he finished, but he had a 3.07 ERA. He was great on the road. He was great in different environments. He had a 2.87 ERA. There's absolutely zero reason why Justin Steele can't go well here. I think the only issue with betting Chicago is that they only had 3 hits today. Obviously, 3 hits isn't going to win you many games, but I think at plus 130,
especially not against the Dodgers.
Sorry?
I was saying, especially not against the Dodgers, you're probably going to need to get close to double-digit hits to beat them if they're going well.
Yeah. Like to say, 3 hits isn't really going to do it. I think a rock-solid pitcher in Steele at plus 130 against somebody who might be lights out. Like Sasaki might take them and to be lights out, and I'll just be delighted to watch it. If I've lost my £20 on the Cubs, so be it. But there's a lot of question marks over Sasaki tomorrow, and I think Steele has to be the option. Everyone likes the Chicago Cubs first five. That was my first play. You've thrown it out. I've thrown it out. TV, DBJ, everybody in the chat wants this Cubbies first five play. And I absolutely agree with you. I'm seeing that at plus 120. I've got that. Plus 130 for the full game. I will go to as well. Pitching props, Lonte, we will get to. We'll try and find. It was difficult today because, like I say, the pitches were kind of on a short leash, almost extended spring training, and then the bats didn't do much, so you didn't get many clues in terms of the lineups. But we'll see if we can find a player prop or two in a moment. Let me tell you first about Underdog. Underdog Pick'em. You can play any sport, win up to 100 times your money. Our code here is MLB SGPN to claim a special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MLB SGPN. And Edge Boost, our partners here at SGPN. Edge Boost is the premier Visa debit card for bettors. An Edge Boost card allows you to avoid the hassle of having your card denied at the sportsbook, DFS site, sweepstake, racetrack, casino, and you can earn up to $750 per month in cashback rewards for using your Edge Boost card. It's FDIC insured, no credit checks, and it's completely free. Sign up for Edge Boost and enter our free $2,000 bracket contest at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bracket. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bracket. Lonte, player props, pitchers, hitters, who do you like?
I like Suzuki. I'm trying to find a number. Where's the number? I'm trying to find. I don't see a ton of numbers out just yet.
What market are you looking at, Lonte? Because I've got a few in front of me.
I'm looking for hits.
Hits. And who do you want? Oh, Suzuki. Say Suzuki.
I see.
So roundabout.
Yeah, Suzuki. I want Suzuki hits over. I see. This is home runs. I see. This is bad podcasting. Let's see. I've
got them here, Lonte, if you want me to give you them. I can say Suzuki.
Let's go hit runs, RBIs for him because the over on the so over 1.5 is minus 110. I like that a lot. I mean, obviously this is a big moment for him as well, being from there, and I think somebody's got to hit the ball at the top of the lineup, and I think he'll be able to do so. So if he gets on base, I think he might maybe swipe a bag or two, just depending upon how it goes and where it's at in the count and everything like that. So I like Suzuki to hits, runs, RBIs over 1.5. I also like Kyle Tucker over 1.5. I think those two guys have to set the tone at the top of the lineup to be able to get things going and get things flowing, because the way the bottom of the lineup was today was disgusting. Or the entire lineup actually is pretty disgusting. So let's go with the two big bats in the lineup. Let's go Kyle Tucker over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, and Suzuki over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs.
TBDBG was looking at Roki Sasaki under 1.5 earned runs, but he didn't really want to bet him without seeing him versus big league lineups in a meaningful game, which I understand completely. I think the safer options are on Justin Steele. Well, I mean, that's gambling as well. If you've got a feeling how he goes, it could go your way. With today's a reference point, I looked at the unders on both pitchers' outs, but they were both juiced. They were both around about minus 130. So I didn't really fancy any of that. Justin Steele earned runs under 1.5 was a bet that I liked. I think Steele can go fine. And you've got the built-in possibility that they'll all be on the same kind of length of leash, sort of. The line is around about 14 and a half out. So if Steele can go okay tomorrow, under 1.5 earned runs was at plus 128 there for Steele. I'm going to Kyle Tucker prop as well, but my Kyle Tucker prop is under half a walk. Finished the season, just wasn't walking much. I think he's had one in his last 5 games. Minus 105 for Tucker to have under half a walk today. In my hits, runs, RBI play, it's going to be Dansby Swanson. Dansby Swanson was involved today. Average 2.2 hits, runs, ribbies over his last 6 games. And like I say, he got involved today. That would have hit 5 of his last 6 games for Dansby Swanson. I know we've got a 5-month gap in between, but he's been going along okay. So that plus 125 is the price there for Dansby Swanson. And I'm going to throw out a home run play. There wasn't any today. There might not be any tomorrow, but we throw it out for fun anyway. Dingers, 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 dingers. Dansby Swanson again. I'll stick with Dansby. He's going to be my guy today. And Dansby doesn't owe me any money because he hit one out in London when I was there. So he's in credit with me, Dansby. So you can have a free one tomorrow. Plus 550 for a Dansby Swanson home run tomorrow, Lonte.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little bit longer shot. Not much, but I'm going to go Pete Crow Armstrong to hit one out tomorrow. Like you said, I'm unsure of if, like, I don't know what they're going to do with the pitching situation. I mean, both bullpens should be completely rested. It wasn't a ton of work. I think the Dodgers bullpen, each guy threw maybe under 20 pitches. So, and they didn't even get it to the deep bulk of their bullpen. Neither did the Cubs. But I think if it wasn't for that error in that inning, that it would have been a lot more competitive. But of course, Shohei was doing Shohei things. He got it started with that big single. But yeah, I think Pete Crow Armstrong's going to have a big year. So I'm just forecasting him and trying to speak it into existence so we can get a good price on him here. So I think it's like closer to 6-1. So we write it in that same bin, 5-1, 6-1. So yeah, let's go Pete Crow Armstrong.
Yeah, I like PCA. I think he is going to have a good year. I think he's going to step up a little bit. The Cubs have put a lot of faith in him, and I think he can get it done. You were also exactly right to point out about that throwing error, because again, it sort of skewed the figures that Ben Brown put up. It skewed that half an inning, and it did look like the Dodgers had a little bit of hand over the Cubs, but it was a throwing error. We often say that the team makes the fewest errors are going to win the game. And that was very much the difference, part of the difference this morning. Lonte, I've got nothing else to add here. Short and sweet for one regular season game. Do you have anything else that you want to tell the people before we let them go?
Man, I don't, but I'm glad to be back, man. We'll have, opening day right around the corner. I know me and Deal will be back Thursday to break down the AL Central, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, man, we're inching closer and closer to the season. I really wish, I understand the time difference, but I really wish it was a little bit better time for the East Coast. But luckily I'll be up for work and I'll probably catch the second or third inning once everything gets settled in. So I'm looking forward to watching the game, looking forward to watching the debut. If the Dodgers if this kid is everything that he's projected to be, man, I really don't know how you beat the Dodgers in the series. I really don't.
It's got a little bit of a Paul Skeens vibe when Skeens came up last year and everyone was absolutely buzzing for that. It's not a dissimilar vibe this time around.
Right. Same thing with I don't know if you remember Strasburg when he came up. It was huge when Steven Strasburg came up for Washington.
Yeah.
That was huge. And both of those guys delivered.
Yeah, definitely exciting time. Myself and Dylan released the NL West divisional preview earlier this afternoon. So that's out there somewhere in the ether. If you haven't caught up with that, there'll be more Dodgers chat, as well as everybody else, including the Rockies. Don't forget the Rockies. We've got the AL Central coming on Thursday, and we've still got Rookie of the Year, Manager of the Year, and Cy Young podcasts all coming out before the end of this week. So we're absolutely still going at it headstrong. I apologise for anyone who's had to put up with my croaky voice today. It won't happen for another 70 years, so don't worry about that. And hopefully that should be gone. Lonte, thank you very much. Enjoy the game tomorrow. Hope you can wake up and catch it. Thanks everyone who joined us and chimed in with your advice and picks tonight. Short and sweet, but we very much appreciate it. Lonte, I will see you in the next few days. Cheers.
Yes, sir. Amen. Cheers.
And everybody else, go and find our shows, like, rate, review, and we will see you all down the road. Cheers.